Immy? Howdy. Wave at the cameras, because all the action is about to start. Hey look! Video of Joe Young playing high school hockey. Hopefully this show will carry you for the week. Sportsnight is next.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sportsnight. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. We dug that out of the archives,
Well,
the old Minneapolis Southwest archives.
Finally, I behaved myself in front of the cameras, and still, there's a shot.
Absolutely.
At the beginning of Sports Night. I've come to expect it, and I look forward to it every week. I hope everybody else out there does as well. And good stuff to talk about.
A lot of good stuff
A lot of stuff to talk about. Very busy, and we're reaching the end for a couple of programs that have playoffs kind of right around the corner.
It's incredible how fast these seasons go, and as you know, we've been doing it long enough. It's just like it's a blink of an eye before we know it. We're at the end of spring, and it's start of another year. But we won't look ahead that far.
Let's not look quite that far ahead. We'll start with the boys hockey team. They're showing flashes that they're ready to turn a corner this season, but they continue to struggle with consistency. This past week, another example of how much that inconsistency can hurt. On Thursday, the Cardinals hosting a Spring Lake Park team that had beaten them soundly early in the year and had won 6 of their previous 8 games. The Cardinals would have to be on their game all 3 periods if they hope to be competitive. Coon Rapids struggles to get going early, and the Panthers pounce. Turnover behind the net, played out front. St. John makes the save. Jacob Nystrom in position to put the rebound home, put the Panthers on the board. This is how quickly the game can change. Doesn't take long for Nystrom to light the lamp again. Spring Lake Park gets the puck in deep immediately. Great passing down low. Out to Nystrom in the slot. He slips a backhand through the 5-hole. 2 goals just 16 seconds apart. And that's just the start of the steamroll. Just over a minute later, again working behind the net. Feed the man in the slot for the one-timer. This time it's Aaron Murphy finishing for the Panthers. They outshot the Cardinals 14-4 in the first, and they scored in bunches. 38 seconds later, it's Devin Sonnell scoring top shelf. 4 goals in just 2 minutes and 18 seconds. And that's all the time it takes for the Panthers to take control. Coach Wolf calls timeout to settle his troops, and it seems to work as there isn't any more scoring until the third. Cardinals almost get one in the second. Brett Johnson bringing the pressure, forcing the turnover. Loses the handle but stays with it, pokes it toward the net. The Panthers keeper able to reach back and keep it from sliding home. Spring Lake Park added to their lead early in the third, but the Cardinals answer this time. Mike Fredrickson sliding it to the back door for Jake Kellner. He finishes with the one-timer. That at least keeps Coon Rapids from being shut out, but that's all they could manage as they were beaten 6-1. And Howie, it's that stretch, 2 minutes and 18 seconds, a 2.5-minute stretch in the first period. You take that stretch out, this is a completely different game. It's a 2-1 game.
You go down 4-0 quickly, and it's really tough to dig out of that hole. And we've seen it with other clubs here in Coon Rapids. But you know, the boys hockey team having difficulty scoring as it is. But now you're down 4 goals, and you expect to try to come back. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it. Yeah,
the Cardinals hosting a Hockey Day Minnesota outdoor game on Saturday. I spoke with Coach Mo briefly after the game. And he said it was the same kind of thing, just not consistent. You play one decent period, and that's not enough against a good team. They get shelled by John Marshall 6-1. Luke Ruff had the lone goal for the Cardinals. St. John made 32 saves in the loss, and the schedule is not easy coming up for the Cardinals. They've got a handful of games remaining that they do have a chance to win, but they have to take advantage of those games. That was what Coach Mo was saying. The first opportunity at Osseo this Thursday. They lost to the Orioles earlier in the season, and the Orioles, one of the better teams in the division, but they're still a beatable team. And then a monster in Elk River coming to town on Saturday. They still have their one meeting with the Blaine Bengals ahead this season. A lot of teams coming in that are going to be very, very tough for the Cardinals to skate with.
Got to put the puck in the net. You know better than anyone. Got to put the puck in the net.
It does help.
Well, the girls hockey team has 4 games left in the regular season, all against conference opponents and all on the road. And the Cardinals need to turn things around a little and let down late in the last week's game against Andover. Cards were looking for a season sweep over the Huskies, and it seemed they would be able to do it until things changed in the final 7 minutes. Cardinals won the first meeting with Andover 4-2, but the Huskies were coming in hot and looking for revenge. Coon Rapids starts the scoring late in the first on the power play. Lily Hackett's shot hits traffic but deflects right to Alyssa Hansen, who was able to fire it in a wide-open net, giving the Cards the 1-0 lead after the first. Well, the power play pays off again in the second. Hanula near side to Hansen. She slips it top shelf on the short side. Her second of the game gives her team the 2-0 lead. Well, this game's all about special teams. Andover's power play cuts the lead to just one with just over 6 minutes left. Cedarsburg's shot from the point of stop, but Michelle Holmes is in position for the rebound. 2-1 game with plenty of time remaining. Less than 4 minutes remaining. Coon Rapids on the power play again. This time it backfires. Sydney Portner blocks the shot from the point, turns into a shorthanded breakaway. Her wrist shot beats Buell high to the glove side. All of a sudden, it's a brand new game with a 3:23 to play. Face off in the Cardinals' end with just 15 seconds left in regulations. Husky wins it to Morgan Check. She fires it to the top shelf with a 12.5 seconds remaining on the clock, and the Huskies snatch a victory out of the jaws of defeat, extending the Cardinals' winless streak to 3 games, Joe. And what a way to lose a game. 12.5 seconds remaining. You're down, you're tied at that point, but you had that 2-0 lead. 3 unanswered goals for the Huskies.
And so many things. The Cardinals had a chance to get that third goal, which may have been a backbreaker several times early in that third period and even late in the second period, and just could not pop that puck in the net. And then give Andover a lot of credit once they got going. They got that first goal, and the momentum clearly shifted to their side. They were setting the pace. But those last 2 goals just can't happen.
No, definitely not.
You can't have a turnover just inside the blue line on your power play, giving up a shorthanded breakaway, and you have to tie up on the faceoff.
You really
can't allow that girl to come in and take that shot. But you live and you learn. And the Cardinals, as you mentioned, just 4 games left. They're all on the road. They're at Centennial tonight. We're shooting this show late on Tuesday. So at Centennial on Tuesday night. They're at Elk River on Saturday. So they have 4 games on the road, all against good, tough conference teams.
Well, yeah, especially on the road. It's definitely doesn't get easier from here on with the last 4 games.
No. Wrestling team continues to roll through opponents, building toward what is guaranteed to be an exciting finish to the season. Last week, Cardinals went 4-0 in dual meets, claiming a championship in the Stillwater duels. But first, another Northwest Suburban opponent that showed little resistance to the Cardinal juggernaut. Huskies may be natural leaders, but when the Cardinals traveled to Andover, it was like the slaughter coming to the sheep's pen. Aaron Caswell started the meet with a pin at 106, and Captain Mike Jones follows suit at 113. Puts Andover's Ryan Garrett in the cradle early in the second period, controls the legs, and he's going to get the pin in 4:27, putting the Cardinals in front 12-0. After a couple of Andover forfeits, the pin parade continues at 132. Goes to overtime, but Jared Jolkowski throws the headlock on Anthony Luca, puts him right on his back. His pin pushes the Cardinals' lead to 30-0 for Coon Rapids. Andover did get a couple of wins after that, but the outcome of this meet never in doubt. 160 pounds, Captain Keanu Baker using the half Nelson to get Brandon Overhammer turned toward the mat right at the start of the second period. Slap on the mat comes at 209. Baker having a great year, currently ranked 5th at 160 pounds. Alex Caldarilla up next, and he makes quick work of Brady Peterson. Doesn't get through the first period. Caldarilla with the double arm bar working and spins him onto his shoulders. The pin puts Cardinals lead at 45-11 with 4 matches left. Michael Bothwell get Coon Rapids their 3rd straight pin at 182. Dominates Zach Steckman. Gets a slap on the mat early in the second period. Cardinals win this in a laugher, taking 11 of the 14 matches, 6 of them by pin, as they win 63-17.
Made it look easy, and and they're wrestling
and they
well,
should.
and they should
really
against,
should when, it comes to facing teams like Andover. They have to go out and they have to dominate and show that they belong. I think now ranked 5th. I think, don't quote me on that, in the latest. Are they 7th in the latest state rankings? They deserve to be there. They want to show that off. All of their 4 losses this year to top 10 opponents. Pretty impressive season being put together by the Cardinals. It got even more impressive on Saturday. They go to the Stillwater Pony Stampede Duels, and they came into this as the number 3 seed. But they proved that was a mistake.
Yes, it was.
They beat up on poor Osceola 67-12. Look at all the pins. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't go that high.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That's not 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's 8.
It's
1,
8.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8.
8.
8.
Ocho pins out of 14 matches. Pretty impressive for the Cardinals. That moves them on to face number 2 seed Chatfield, which is a ranked team in single A competition. The Cardinals win that one as well. There it is.
There we go.
37-28. Only 2 pins in this one. They were off their game a little bit.
They were a little
Chatfield
bit.
pretty good. Jokowski and Bryant both get pins. Baker got the tech fall at 19-3. Major decisions by Caswell and Bothwell. And then they faced Hudson, Wisconsin, was the number 1 seed, and the Cardinals win this one 38-30. They get pins from Jokowski, Bryant, and Joey Bothwell. Alex Caldarilla and Michael Bothwell had major decisions, and Tyler Berdahl had a pin at 2:20 in just 1 minute and 27 seconds, and pushes their lead to 16-4-1 overall, still undefeated in the Northwest Suburban at 5-0.
Yeah, they've been having a phenomenal season, and we've seen them once. We'll be seeing them a couple more times before the year is over. Unfortunately, you won't be there this week.
In the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
They host Champlain Park on Friday, and Howie will be there.
Joe will not.
I will not. I will be headed for Silver Bay. And then next week is always the exciting one. They're at Anoka.
Yep.
Tornadoes also undefeated in the Northwest Suburban Conference. So the battle for the Golden Shoes, which is the annual trophy given out between those two teams, will also once again determine the champion in the Northwest Suburban.
Should be a lot of fun. And then I think we see him the week after against Foley, I believe.
Pretty exciting stuff on the horizon. Gymnastics team, another good score in last week's match against Champlain Park, a 124.85. A little off the last couple of weeks, what they've been able to score, I think, a 126 and a 127.
Yep.
So a little below where they had been. But Champlain Park pretty good, putting up nearly a 140.
Yeah, that was a nice score.
The Cardinals having a tough time even getting on the podium in this one. Fourth place finishes for Hannah Gross in the vault. Koval and Gross tie for fourth in the bars. Koval got on the podium with a third place finish in the beam, and that is not a misprint. Hannah Gross' sixth place finish was the best Cardinal finish on the floor. Top 5 places went to Champlain Park, but Gross and Koval also tie for fourth place in the all-around with 32.75. The Cardinals are in Cambridge Isani on Saturday for the Blue Jacket Invitational, and then they will be at Irondale next Wednesday.
We've talked all season about the swimming and diving team's struggles due to their lack of depth. Well, they're not the only ones that have in that same boat. Last week, the Cardinals played host to the Park Center Pirates, while Coon Rapids only has 19 guys on the roster. Park Center has just 12. So for these two teams, it would be the best competition of the season, going right down to the wire. This is anybody's match from the opening event, but the Pirates were definitely scoring more first-place finishes. Third event of the night, the 200 IM, a good race for freshman Alex Schmidt. And it looks like he's going to win, but he's beaten by 1/100th of a second. And Park Center has the slim lead. We thought he won that one.
We did.
It's not until the 7th event of the evening that the Cardinals claim a blue ribbon. Great night for Captain Austin Frazier. He's way out in front of the crowd in the 100 freestyle. He's going to win this one easily, the time of 54.62, almost 9 seconds ahead of second place. Well, Frazier would go for gold again in the 100 backstroke, which is really his strongest event. Another dominant victory in this one, getting to the wall in a time of 102.50. Still, the Cardinals trail by 1 point with 2 events left. We're going to move to the final event of the meet with a 400 freestyle. Cardinals need first place to get their first victory of the year, and the team of Frazier, Schmidt, Tate Andrews, and Mark Damel get the job done. They win with more than 40-second cushion, with Schmidt going to the wall at a time of 4:06.21. Cardinals will win the meet with a score of 96-84. And it was nice to be there for that win, Joe.
It was.
It was a quick one. Got over in about an hour, 15 hour, 20 minutes, which was
just one event that had a JV.
Yep.
Allowed me to get to practice that night.
It's always good.
Which I didn't mind, but it was exciting to be there. And actually, a couple of the Park Center fans came over and talked about getting some copies of the DVD, because for them it was also exciting just to have another team where they could be competitive right to the end. And it's they had a chance to win, and for the Cardinals, that's got to feel good. To see that they're not suffering. They're not the only ones suffering through lack of numbers, and they're doing things the right way. The top couple of swimmers for Park Center, pretty impressive.
Really impressive.
And a couple of them that were grabbing multiple first place finishes, just 8th and 9th graders. So if they can get some numbers, that might be a program on the rise.
Absolutely.
But the Cardinals, a team on the rise as well. They were in the Section 7 AA True Team tournament on Saturday. They finished in 8th place. Not a great thing if you just look at the numbers, but 33 best times.
That's the impressive part.
Again, every time they get in the pool, most of these guys are putting up best times in each event and getting personal bests in multiple events in the same evening. So they continue to get faster, and that's what the season has to be about when you don't have the numbers to truly compete against some of these really elite teams in the conference. Austin Frazier, the top finish of the evening for the Cardinals, taking 7th place in the 100 backstroke. Cole Johnston finished 8th place in diving with a 261.20. First time he has ever competed in an 11 dive meet. Alex Schmidt, the 9th grader, a 9th place finish in the 500 free, and then a couple of other finishes in the top 15. The 200 medley relay team finished 12th. Austin Frazier was 13th place. Did I not put on there what what event that was? Oh, that was the 100 free, and Alex Schmidt on the bottom, 14th place, was in the 200 IM.
You know, we're just trying to get things in place right before the show, so it's
yeah,
understandable.
It's a little cobbled together, but that's the way
hectic.
it goes. Upcoming, the swimming and diving team will also be in Cambridge on Saturday for a tournament, and then next week they are at Champlain Park on Thursday. NORDIC team competing in a freestyle with the Northwest Suburban Conference teams last week. They also competed yesterday, and we just got those results just minutes before the show here on Tuesday afternoon, so we'll have those results for you next week on Sportsnight. But last week's event, Cardinals boys were 6th place in the 5.8K freestyle, with Dan Matthews leading the way with a 22nd place finish. Kyle Mehrhoff right behind him, just 3 seconds back in 23rd. Ryan Nelson just 10 seconds behind Mehrhoff in 27th. Breitbach, the 9th grader, a 46th place finish, and he finishes very close with Ryan Haida right behind him. For the girls, also a 6th place finish. Caitlin Benson, the leader, in 14th place in a time of 20 minutes, 57 seconds. Olivia Ellenbecker finished 25th. Cardinals fall off a little bit after that. Zabaski, the next finisher, at 48th. Emily Ford in 52nd in a time of 25 minutes, 13 seconds. Swanson finished 58th, and Mag O'Grady finished in 60th. For the Cardinals, as we talked about, they had an event yesterday. We'll talk about that next week on Sportsnight. They also have a 5K scheduled with the Northwest Suburban Conference teams on Thursday. And then next Wednesday already, the Northwest Suburban Conference tournament.
It's going quickly.
Alpine ski team competing in race number 3 of their season last week. Boys finishing in 10th place. Jake Luer, the best finish for the Cardinals, in 31st in 1 minute, 1 second, 1.09 seconds. Josh Whelan finished 58th. Aaron Caroon 60th. Marcellin was 67th. And Nico Tweedy finished in 72nd
Great
place
name.
with 1 minute, 36.52. It is Nico Tweedy.
Love it.
Want that one to be around. For the girls, of course, an 8th place finish. Just 3 competitors on the team, but they're out there having fun. And look at the finish for Maddie Boland.
Nice 5th place.
Remember, this is out of like 65 or 70 girls when you combine all 10 teams. There are 2 teams that finish below the Cardinals because they only have 1 competitor each.
Okay.
But a 5th place finish overall, a very nice finish for Maddie Boland. 1 minute, 9.04 seconds. Emma Boland, I should say, finished in 28th, and Emma Pearson finished in 54th. Race 4 for the Alpine teams is on Thursday, and they are at Trollhagen. And then next, I think it's next Monday. I wrote down the 25th, which would be Sunday. But next Monday or Tuesday, they have race 5, which will be at Wild Mountain. And that probably will be a race that they don't count anyhow. They always schedule 5, right, but they only carry 4. The 5th is just in case of inclement weather and a possible cancellation.
Okay.
It was a tough week for the boys basketball team as they had to face 2 of the toughest teams in the Northwest Suburban's West Division. With the new teams coming in this season, the conference being split in 2, it's nice that there are some teams they only have to face once. However, it doesn't make it any easier when they have to face 2 of the top teams from the other side back to back. Cardinals getting fired up to face the very tough Osseo Orioles squad, and they weren't going to be intimidated. Nice job working the ball down low early on. Tyler Brick taking it up strong, scoring with the left hand, with the Cardinals on the board, but they trailed 3-2. Defense coming out strong as well. Cardinals swarmed to the ball, and they forced the turnover. Peyton Foy will run the floor, laying it up and in. Give Coon Rapids the lead, at least for a little while. Once the Orioles start rolling, they are very hard to stop. Marmar Hughes driving to the lane, finds Elliott Kane alone in the corner. He buries a three, puts Osseo up 17-9. They weren't tired of scoring, working it around the perimeter. In the half court, that opens up Cameron Betty in the lane, scores 2 of his 17, pushing the lead to 17. More offense for the Orioles, this time in transition. Zach Thiessen able to hit another three-pointer. It's 35-11 Osseo at that point. Coon Rapids finally able to break the long run by Osseo. Peyton Foy finds Brandon Pratt down court. Baskets were few and far between for the Cardinals. They're never able to really challenge the lead. Osseo just so good in so many ways. Great fast movement. Another good shot from the perimeter. Christopher Harvey hits this one from beyond the arc. Orioles up 41-13 at the half, on their way to a 69-33 win. Yeah,
tough loss for the Cardinals. They're just not able offensively to get things going. They're not able to score the points that I know Coach O would like them to see put in. And, you know, we talk about all the time, this is probably the toughest conference, if not one of the toughest conferences in the state. It doesn't get easier. And when you're struggling, especially offensively, it makes it sometimes for a long evening.
Well, and you've got teams like Osseo that is always very, very strong in basketball. Park Center typically has a very, very good basketball team. And this year, Maple Grove is really on fire in both boys and girls. And the boys had to face them right away on Thursday night after you know, no time to lick their wounds.
Exactly.
After losing to Osseo, they have to face Maple Grove, and they lose this one by 37, 88-51 the final. Peyton Foy leading the way for the Cardinals with 13 points. Tyler Brick had 11, and Tyrion Johnson had 10. Sam Carver and Deo Lowell each added 5. And, you know, what happens next? They're at Park Center tonight, Tuesday night.
Yep.
And then they host Elk River on Thursday, and Elk River is
another
is pretty
tough squad.
good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Elk River, no offense to the Elks, but they're going to be kind of it's going to feel like, well, these guys aren't quite what we faced
the last
3
games. Yeah, I know.
I mean, for those 3 games to be back to back to back on your schedule, it's just like at the beginning of the season, you look at that and you go, oh, that's tough.
That is tough.
But best of luck to the Cardinals this week, and we will definitely have results and some video for you next week on Sportsnight.
We will. Well, the girls basketball team also struggled against 2 tough West Division teams last week, starting with a visit from Osseo. Orioles came into the game hoping to get their season back on track. They had just beaten Blaine in their previous game to snap a 5-game losing streak, and they were looking at this game as a chance to start a positive streak as we start the second half of the season. Orioles fly out to the fast start early. Nice job working the perimeter, then finding Azaria Reed in the lane for the basket. It's all Osseo out of the gates. And they do it with a lot of their defense. Good pressure on the ball forces the bad pass. Kiara Russell steps up, takes it away. She's in the break, scoring easily to put the Orioles up 9-0. Cardinals are able to get their offense going a little to get this one back within striking distance. Cheyenne Steiner driving down the lane, and she scores. After getting a stop on the defense, the Cardinals able to score again. Marina Nyberg draws the defense, sets up Brianna Clark for the short jumper to cut the deficit back to 5. But the Orioles pretty much ran away with it after that. Defense forces another bad pass, and Osseo works quickly in transition. They find Mina Porte behind the defense for the easy basket. That made it 21-6 Orioles. We're still in the first half. Russell with a quick move off the dribble gets to the baseline for the basket. She led all scorers with 21. Orioles up 34 at the half, and they coast to a 71-31 win. Tough loss again for the Lady Cardinals.
Yeah, and again, you know, we talk about it a lot. You have to, especially with those tougher teams, you have to try and stay with them early. But you know, kind of a slippery slope,
yeah.
and teams start to go on 15 and 20-point runs on you. There's not a lot you can do. You go into the locker room down 41. Obviously, I'm not a basketball guru, but as I can't imagine as a coach what you say other than, hey, let's go out and just do better in the second half.
That's all you can do, because you get yourself in such a large hole. It's virtually, nothing's ever impossible. It's virtually impossible to dig out when you're down by that many points. So it's just building on things, making things positive, trying to work, and hopefully have a better effort the next game.
Well, and it's going to take a better effort. Well, got to talk about Maple Grove.
Yes.
I think for the boys, it's Park Center first place and Maple Grove second in the West Division.
Yep.
And for the girls, it's Maple Grove first place and Park Center second.
Correct. Doesn't get easy, does it?
And you get them back to back.
Yeah.
80-44, the final on Friday. Kaylee Porish leading the way with 17 points. Cheyenne Steiner also got into double digits with 10. Mackenzie Wilkins had 6, Marina Nyberg 5, and they had 3 players with 2 points each. But and again, they host Park Center tonight, and an 11-3 Pirate squad.
Very good.
Coming to
Playing
the
very
field
well.
house, and we'll be over there. In just a little bit.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully, we'll talk more on the game, but talking to Coach Peterson, said they felt Osseo. They just really, their heads weren't in it. Against Maple Grove, they felt they gave a little bit of an better effort, and they're hoping to carry some of that over tonight because they know it's going to be tough. They're just hoping to keep the game, slow down the pace of this game tonight, try and play their game against the Pirates.
Well, and when you're in the kind of position the Cardinals are this year, they're very young, haven't had a lot of success, and you're facing these teams that are coming on just rolling and ranked in the top 10 or 15 in the state. You have to measure your successes. Every trip down the court, really.
You do.
And in basketball, as we talk about, it's about making your possessions count, and doing your best to limit opportunities at the defensive end. Cardinals are at Elk River on Thursday, and that won't be much easier either. Here's where we will be. We will be at that girls basketball game against Park Center. That's live at 7 o'clock. And then wrestling on Friday, the Cardinals hosting the Champlain Park Rebels, trying to push to 6-0 in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Then we'll see the girls hockey team take on Champlain Park next Tuesday, live at 7:30. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN for the entire crew, including Mr. Brandon Rickert holding down the set to my left, and my main man, Howie Shapiro. I'm Joe Young, saying good night.